Music often takes on many interpretations of its purpose for the listener. However, certain reasons are sometimes misconstrued and what is genuinely important is somewhat forgotten. These aspects are usually tied to specific genres of music, like how hip-hop listeners must have the highest level of lyrical content, or how an EDM track must have the most formidable bass drop, or even a pop track needing an insanely catchy hook. These traits are important for success in one particular genre, but what happens when you throw genre out the window? When there is no labels put on a product, it makes it impossible to analyze from one closed-minded perspective, and all principles you've come to know are meaningless. Jon Bellion's music is otherworldly in a sense that it cannot be categorized to one genre. By adopting elements from across the entire music spectrum, Jon seamlessly creates his own genre that's never been heard before. Although it could be argued that he's just another pop artist after his tremendous success with his platinum-selling single All Time Low, with a further look into his entire music library, you can see he's much more than that.
Records of every pop with a pocket deeper than sand. A juxtaposition, Sam Cooke, Billy Joe, Steely Dan. Changing the fucking spectrum, I need you to understand.
Jon merges genres, like how he creates drum pockets influenced by the likes of the legendary Jay Dilla, and combining them into what seems like a pop record on the surface, resulting in a sound you'd never think could be practical.
Pop lyrics and pop, but the swing is like on some, I don't even know. Sounds crazy.
Jon doesn't make music for the fame, money, or to sell a million records. He makes music for the fans and the ones that truly want to listen.
The people who listen to music. The people who listen to music. That's who you create for. That's who I create for.
Jon's devotion to making quality music for his fans started with the creation of his trio of projects that were put out into the world for free starting from 2013, growing a strong organic fan base through the internet. After high school, Jon was presented with a college scholarship for basketball, but ultimately decided he'd rather stick to his true passion and chase his dream of being an artist, therefore enrolling at Five Towns College located in Dix Hills, New York, who ironically have him listed on the front page of their website as an artist bred from their program, even though he dropped out during his freshman year with a 1.3 GPA. However, it was this short stint in college that created arguably the two most career-determining events in his short life. Firstly, it was during college that Jon met companions such as singer-songwriter Travis Mendez, drummer Bernard Julian, bassist Andre Lyles, engineer and producer Mylon Hayde, guitarist Joe Scucciamari, pianist George Benavides, and of course rapper Black Keys, who Jon met during his college orientation after seeing each other's talent in a cypher that had broken out in the cafeteria, which ultimately created the band BTP and the collective Beautiful Mind, a name adopted from the Ron Howard film A Beautiful Mind.
My college years of development when I met those guys were like so crucial to like what I'm doing now. My sound was developed in college and it was all because of those guys.
Although, after being influenced by Kanye West's debut album College Dropout, Jon decided to drop out of college only after one semester.
19, I'm feeling scared as shit, 'cause I'm dropping out of college from an album made by Ye. I'm out my mind.
However, only a few days later after he lost his job as a caterer, was it that he was called up out of the blue by Cara Diagati, a Grammy award-winning songwriter, and was presented with the choice of a deal at Warner Music Group or a publishing deal with her own personal company, which Jon enthusiastically accepted. This unexpected phenomenon was actually the result of a random student who went to Five Towns somehow coming across Jon's first mixtape, Scattered Thoughts Volume 1, and as an intern passed it on to Cara at Warner. The next year, Chris Zaru, the founder of independent record label Visionary Music Group, signed Jon after knowing him for 3 years when a mutual friend introduced him to Jon's music, and after meeting with numerous other managers, Jon decided Chris was the most genuine and was put on Visionary next to the tremendously successful rapper Logic, who together would create an empire. During the same year, Jon found himself in the same room as Jason Derulo, who was searching for his next big hit and happened to come across the instrumental for the soon-to-be hit single Trumpets, that Jon never personally used himself since he thought it was too pop. In February 2013, Jon put out his second mixtape, Translations Through Speakers, and the first of 3 projects that would grow his fanbase exponentially online.
The body is cold, conversation is cocaine, I'll call her Snow. That's your new nickname.
After the release of this mixtape, he signed to Capitol Records, but this remained unknown until it was revealed in 2015 prior to his debut album. In September of the same year, Jon found himself in a French castle I wouldn't dare to pronounce for a songwriting retreat to see what could be created, influenced by the medieval setting. Here is where I believe he met Audra May, who features on Jon's songs Luxury and He Is the Same. while he also created the song Carry Your Throne, which has obvious influence from the setting which they were present, resulting in the only song from his trio of mixtapes that was co-produced, with help from a man named Chris DiStefano, who also has writing and production credits on Weight of the World on The Human Condition.
But if your heart is a dogfight, then I'm ready to go to war like.
It was also here where he wrote the hook for the song Monster by Eminem featuring Rihanna, ultimately winning him a Grammy and earning him a large amount of money, which he was able to invest into the creation of several music videos and further production of his mixtapes. It was only 3 months later that Jon released his third mixtape, The Separation, further growing his fanbase.
This young boy is a problem, you should call it in. Yeah, he's kicking down the doors, Jim Morrison.
On December 19th, Jon Bellion played his first ever show at SOB's in New York to a sold-out crowd that was over capacity. A year later, Jon released his fourth and final mixtape, The Definition.
I always fear that I'm not living right, so I feel guilty when I go to church. The pastor tells me I've been saved, I'm fine. Then please explain to me why my chest still hurts.
By this time, Jon had built an enormous group of fans that would serve him well for the release of his debut album, The Human Condition. But before this album could be released, Jon collaborated with EDM producer Zedd on a track called Beautiful Now, earning him his first gold certification in the United States. Also in this time, Jon released 3 singles, Woke the F Up, Woodstock, and All Time Low, which after the release of the album and the remastering of the track, received certified platinum in the United States, a first for Jon. It wasn't until June 10th, 2016, with the accompaniment of singles All Time Low, Guillotine, 80s Films, and Maybe I Don't Know, that Jon Bellion's debut album The Human Condition was finally released, selling approximately 32,000 copies in the first week.
I am just a man, I am just a man who lusts, gives, tries. Sometimes I lose my way.
Jon has been adamant about the influence of Pixar in the creation of his music, having had Pixar films playing silently in the background throughout the whole production of the album. I think what was so impressive about his album was not only how spectacular it was sonically, but the visual aspect that Jon personally invested in to accompany his project. Jon hired an artist by the name of David Lajaya who created Pixar-esque movie posters for each track off of the album, deepening the immersion and concept of every song. The reason for the accompaniment of the artwork was not only to bring back the visual aspect to a physical album, but was also a means of a business ploy to garner the attention of Pixar Studios, since it has been a lifelong dream for Jon to score a Pixar film. And as a matter of fact, the plan was successful and Jon caught the attention of Patrick Clifford, the vice president at Disney Music Company. This is where the details get quite cloudy, but I believe Patrick was the individual who purchased Jon's album after being intrigued by the artwork, which resulted in him actually attending one of Jon's shows, where he told Jon that he would like to set up a meeting with John Lasseter, the chief creative officer of Pixar. And this meeting happened during February 2017 in California at Disney Animation Studios. However, this could potentially be false information. Jon isn't just an artist, he is a role model that inspires us to chase our dreams even if people doubt you. He used the resources he had to create opportunities that would open avenues to achieve a goal no one besides him thought was possible. And his innovation of sound is bending genre similar to the way many other influential artists of our generation are also doing. I look forward to the day I can sit down in a cinema and hear Jon's work through surround sound speakers while I'm lost in the world of a Disney Pixar masterpiece.